Okay, welcome back. Frank is an great LA film director. Welcome back to my channel. This video I filmed before, but something happened to it. So anyway, whatever. How to plan your film's production. How to plan your film's production. There's a practical list you must adapt to be a successful producer. There's a practical list you gotta have to be a successful producer, right? There's some key things you gotta have in mind. They just have to be part of you, right? The person that plans the film production is usually the producer, right? So, by that I mean, how do you put the pieces together? How do you put every aspect of this film in motion? How do you make it work, right? It has to be like a well-oiled machine. Like, you can't just wing it. You gotta plan it. And to plan it means writing down every single thing that would happen in the production of this film from the beginning, from the inception to the reception, from inception to your premiere, right? So from the idea generation to production, post-production, and release, right? There must be a practical list that you adapt to. You gotta write it up. There has to be a list, right? So therefore, the first thing you gotta look at is the financial breakdown. What is your budget and how will it be spent? Write it down. What is your budget and how will it be spent? Because it's your budget that will determine the kind of film you make. It's your budget that will let you know what your freedoms are, what your spaces are, what factors could affect the outcome of your film, right? So it's the financial breakdown that shows exactly what it will cost to cast the film, write the film, get it ready for shooting, cast it, rehearse it, start production of the film, shoot behind the scenes in the film, hire the director, producer, hire the DP and your full cast, how you rehearse the scene, where you're gonna rehearse the scenes, when you're gonna start filming, principal photography. Like, there has to be a scene list from your script that shows your schedule, that shows your complete location, your production tools, and kits that you need, right? How you can store your dailies. So storage stuff like every transferring files on location and catering services. See, listen, I saw a film this evening. Well, I saw it again, right? It's called Drive with Ryan Gosling. And his job in this film is to basically pick up criminals on the scene of a crime and get them back home, basically, get them off the streets with their loot, right? So, and he has to do this in record time. So the cops are on him, he has a radio in his car, and he's trying to get away. Everything about this film, right, is LA, right? But his intensity of the film that's crazy. It's the fact that he gives him a few seconds to do the hit. To get into this car, he drives. He doesn't care about what you stole. He doesn't care who you are. He just drives. You get hired to drive, and that's what he does. He gets away from the cops. He's the getaway driver, and that's all he does, plain and simple. So throughout the film, he's doing this business, and it's just interesting to see how they put the love story in there with, I think it's Carrie Mulligan, I think it's her, and in the film, and basically, it's a classic, right? So, but the production of your film has to be listed. Every single thing that would happen, there can be surprises. That's one thing I can tell you is that on film sets, you will have surprises all day long. I've seen people check out on the set. I've seen actresses say no and just leave the set. I had to recast. So anything can happen on an independent film set. Anything can happen. So be prepared for anything. Be prepared to pivot because things will happen. Things will happen on the set. Things will surprise you on the set. Right? So the best way to avoid these mishaps is to have the planning knocked down. Yeah, you have to get the planning right. In other words, the planning of your shoot has to be precise. And alternatives to your plan, it has to be in place. In other words, if you're supposed to shoot in plan A and location A and doesn't pan out, something happens, just change your plan. You have to be able to move your crew, boom, to the next place, plan B, and shoot there. You can't lose a day because one plan didn't work out. You get, it's get rich or die trying. You gotta shoot the next one. If this doesn't work, you gotta be able to move fast to the next lane. There's no time to, when you're shooting independent films, there's no time to bask in the pain or the glory or whatever you're dealing with. That's drama. All that matters is what's in the can. What have you filmed today? Have you filmed what you're supposed to film today? If not, why not? Because nobody wants to hear why. You just gotta see, when you have a script, you have a shoot to do, you have actors and waiting to do it. They're rehearsed. They were rehearsed, they're ready to go. The set cannot let you down. Your production cannot let you down. Your cameras cannot let you down. Your power source cannot let you down. You must make sure that you double back on everything. It must be a spare script, must be spare lenses, must be spare power sources, spare cameras, spare everything, because anything can happen. A camera could go bad, lenses could get scratched, scripts could get lost, shooting scripts could get missing, get misplaced. Jump drives may not work, flash drives may not work. So you gotta have double of everything. From experience, I can tell you that everything that's supposed to go wrong will go wrong. Everything that's supposed to go right will go wrong. So just be ready to, you're lucky to get what you, see, at the end of the day, right? Make sure that you get what you plan to shoot. Nobody leaves the set until you get, like, what's the point of going home if you don't have the set? If you don't have what you're supposed to shoot for the day, why are you going home? I've been on a set with, what's this guy's name? Wasn't Al Pacino, it was somebody else. I think it was Kiefer Sutherland. No, it wasn't Kiefer, it was Kiefer Sutherland. He was a big actor, a real big actor. And we were on a set, we were extras on a set. It wasn't Al Pacino, it was somebody big. I can't remember the guy's name, but we were on a set and we were filming. I was an extra, so I didn't care, but I had to care, of course. I was getting paid. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that day, right, we filmed from 6 a.m. in the morning until 9 p.m. at night. And they were setting up to shoot until midnight. And the lead actor in the film said we cannot go. Like, he just dismissed all the extras. And we were so happy. I mean, we got paid extra, we got paid overtime and everything, but the fact is, he continued, the guy was not even trying to back down. They kept filming, the director kept working with him. He wasn't trying to slow down, but I remember we all getting our cars and leaving, and we were thinking to ourselves, that's why these guys win Oscars. That's why these guys get paid $20 million a picture, because they definitely put in more than everybody else. The guy put in so much work that we started thinking, wow, is that what it takes? Is that what it really takes to get to the top? He gave his all and then some. So plan your film production, because it will always go over time. It will always go overboard. There will always be something that will make it stretch. If actors are working with you on a set, sometimes they get tired. plain and simple, they get tired. And so you have to like be ready to have them go out and come back and refresh. And that means the money sometimes that could mean having a shrink on the set, a friend, someone, music, something, a DJ, like whatever you need to do to keep them in production must be done. So plan your film production very well, right? There's a practical list you must adapt to be a good producer. You must think of everything as a producer. You must think of everything that will happen, that might happen, this that could happen. Every single thing that you can imagine will go wrong. So plan for that. That's why you're the producer. Plan for that. That's why you're chief, right? And the more you plan, the more you can mitigate some circumstances. That's just the bottom line, right? But remember, at the end of the day, what you need to go home with are one, the dailies. Make sure you have the dailies. So that's what you came to work for. You came to work for the film. The film is the dailies. Everything that was shot that day must go home with you. Not with the producer, no, not with the director of photography. With you, the director. Everything you've shot that day, you must get a copy, a raw copy of the files. Because I've been in a situation where, you film something, and then the next day, the DP dips. You can't find him, or something happens to where money issues, he just bounces with your film. And you shot a whole day's worth of stuff. Like 30% of your film was shot, and he has it. You don't have a copy. No. When I'm filming, I'm making copies. I want copies on the scene right there. I want to go home with my dailies. I want to go home with what I shot, because I don't want to hear stories. Stories that touch your heart are everywhere. Trust me. So you want to go home with your dailies. Your daily filming, hours of your filming, hours of behind the scenes. You want to go home with everything. So I take my flash drives or whatever drives, external hard drives, whatever drives I take with me. They could be on my person. So when I'm done filming, I download everything. I go home with it. Not to look at it, not to look at the dailies, but just to have it. To make sure it's secure. Then when I go home, I transfer it to other drives and free up space for the next day. Right. So I hope this makes sense. How to plan your film production from the top to the bottom, right? The financial breakdown, your budget, how it's going to be spent. You need to have a lineup with that. You need to know what's going to happen if it happens, where every dime will be spent. You need a scene list, you need to break down the scene, every scene, the list of all your scenes, all your major scenes, all your minor scenes, right? And then you want to have a list of films, of scenes that will come into play. Alternative alternate scenes that you might want to experiment with and have in the tape just in case. Sometimes actors will give you some more than what you wanted. And you film it. You gotta be ready to film it. You can film interviews while you're filming the movie. Don't be scared to have B-roll running on everything that's happening on the set. The more you collect, the better, right? And so you plan for everything. Plan for the dailies, plan for the food, especially the food. People have to eat. Plan for their food. Plan for excess food. As you're working, people are eating. As they're eating, they get more hungry. As they get more hungry, you gotta feed them, right? So plan to have your stuff catered. Just have some lady or dude that knows how to cook real thick food, cook some real American diner stuff, from roast, some fries. It's getting those foods that get your energy pumping. You need the energy. It's not about apples and fritters and little. Nah, you want big fat burritos. You want tacos that's so small. Get a Latino guy. There's this place called, what's it called? This joint's crazy. You gotta go to this joint. Latino joint in LA. It's like a fast food place, but for Mexican food. When you go there, get a burrito. Burritos are this big. When you get one burrito from there, right, It's a heart attack. That's what you need on a film set, like a real. In fact, get a burrito guy to the set to hook it up right there on the set. Get a food truck and get the real deal. When you get that, trust me, you have a smooth shoot. You know, they're gonna be talking about your shoot for days. Just get a dude that's gonna pay him to do it. Like get a black dude that knows how to roast a street side chicken. You put those wings up there and have a barbecue pit on the set. Listen, when you call for the set, when you call for the take, when you call for people to come back on set, back at 1, they will come back very happy and hearty because they've had a strong meal, right? That's the point I'm trying to say. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? So plan your production, plan it well, get it done. I'm gonna wrap it right here, right? Please like this video, subscribe, and then you can always contact me. You have my details. Now listen, the film production unit that we have helps directors and producers put their film out there, right? Shoot it, put it in theaters, make some money. We do that too, right? The 10-day film class. We have different things. We do different programs we're on. We'll have them in the notes of this video. Stay in touch, stay cool, and I'm out of here. Take care.